Chairman Jim Walsh here for our regular weekly Chairman's Update. A lot going on this summer, as I've been saying the last few weeks. As you know, I'll try to hit each item from this week as quickly as we can. First, and probably the biggest news for the Washington State Republican Party is yesterday in state court in Thurston County, Olympia, we had the hearing on a left-wing NGO's challenge to the title of our initiative IL 26-126. That's our voter ID initiative that requires proof of citizenship when people register to vote in Washington State. We believe it is the most important single election integrity reform. An initiative, don't draft the title and the short description, the state attorney general's office does. The left-wing organization was challenging it, saying it was too factual, too straightforward. They wanted a title and a short description that would say that it was a horrible thing to require proof of citizenship when people register to vote. The judge in Thurston County in Olympia basically shut down every argument the left-wing NGO was making. It was a win for us as the sponsors. It was a win for common sense, because the left-wing group was trying to inject a bunch of political rhetoric into the title and the short description of the initiative. We've seen this happen before, where titles and short descriptions are confusing and kind of very hyper-partisan. So all of that stuff we were able to knock down in court. The judge gave us a very favorable ruling. We like the title and the short description that we have for IL 26-126. Now we can go forward. And today, in the next few days, we're working on generating the petitions for signatures in support of the initiative to qualify it. Of course, we had to wait for the judge's final ruling so we knew what the actual title was, because you have to print that on the petitions for signatures. We're working on all that right now. We will have petitions ready to go, I hope, in a week to 10 days, and you will start seeing them circulating at events, at county fairs, probably in some shopping places and things like that. We are going to go all out to gather signatures of registered voters around the state. We have until the end of the calendar year to collect the signatures to qualify the initiative, and we expect it will be a very fruitful and productive few months here as we qualify our initiative to require voter ID and proof of citizenship when people register to vote. Doesn't affect when they vote, doesn't change any of the mechanics of voting. It's just about proving you're a citizen when you register to vote in Washington State. The second item that was in the news this week, and happening really about the same time, up in Island County, north of Seattle, we had a very bizarre situation in which the former county party chairman up there, Tim Haslow, an activist, conservative guy, was indicted criminally for not wearing a mask when he was observing election processes last November, at the general election last November. Tim is a certified, trained election observer while he was observing the election result process. Tim refused, as was his right, and initially there was some hubbub and bumping of chests, and the auditor told him he was going to be physically ejected from the offices. And then they finally accommodated Tim and allowed him to observe from kind of out in the hallway. But curiously, the county prosecutor up there in Island County decided to press charges against him and a couple of other people. And really, this county prosecutor just said some bizarre and biased things, characterizing Tim and other conservatives as MAGA crazies and other things. This is the prosecutor. So he ran a varied prosecution of Tim for not wearing a mask, trumped up charges, so to speak, and prosecuted Tim on those. The case was heard before a court, and the court found Tim Haslow guilty of these trumped-up charges. It's an outrage that a county prosecutor in this state would press felony charges against someone for not wearing a COVID mask. They don't work very well anyway, even when you do wear them, and prosecute him for a number of kind of technical charges, and would get a conviction at a time when actual violent criminals shooting people and causing mayhem get no charges brought against them. This weaponization of the court system up in Island County was allowed to take place. Now, Tim is going to appeal this ridiculous result from the trial court there, and we'll include underneath this video and him with his appeal and to appeal this ridiculous verdict. And then last, we of course have been dealing with the effects and the possible effects that was passed in D.C., the budget reconciliation bill that the president championed so aggressively. Here in Washington, in this Washington, the current governor, Mr. Ferguson, has been trying to develop language that hysterically objects to the various elements of this budget reconciliation bill back in D.C. Now, he tried to say that millions were going to die because of changes to Medicaid. That was easily refuted. It's not true. That the reforms to Medicaid are what we call Apple Health Care, we've discussed before, are very common sense. So the current governor flittered over to abortion. He is screaming that abortion will become illegal because of this budget reconciliation bill. That is another false statement. The budget reconciliation bill has nothing to do with the legality of abortion or reproductive health care. It does involve some money. It's cut back on the amount of money that Planned Parenthood and other NGOs receive from the federal government, or from the federal government filtered through the state government. Cuts back on some of that money. And of course, Planned Parenthood is a major ally politically of the current governor. So he's going to bat for Planned Parenthood. He's going to get taxpayer money from the state and give it to his friends if his friends can't get taxpayer money from the federal government. I guess the current governor thinks this issue polls better for him than his previous hysterical comments, but I don't believe it will. His position that the budget reconciliation bill is somehow against women's health is preposterous. It's ridiculous on its face, and I think he's just casting about kind of nervously for some talking point to object to the budget reconciliation bill, when in fact, it's not the budget reconciliation bill that the governor objects to, it's the president. This is all Trump derangement syndrome on the part of Mr. Ferguson, and it's showing through. We will probably have to deal with his hysterical comments about the big, beautiful bill for weeks ahead of us through the summer, but at the end of the day, I don't believe any of these hysterical comments, whether from Mr. Ferguson or the current U.S. Senator Ms. Murray or anyone else. I don't think they're going to get much traction because they're so demonstrably false. But the good news is our initiative is going forward, and we are going to help Tim Haslow up in Island County appeal this ridiculous verdict that he got from a trial court up there. It's a busy summer. We also have a couple of big special elections in the state legislature coming up. So we are going to be action-packed through the summer and early fall here in Washington State. We are going to fix what's broken in the state we love, and we're going to keep fighting, fighting, fighting. Until next week, stay strong and be well.